Good morning, folks. It's 9:18 a.m. on the 5th day, 8th month, 2023. And I'm having a little look here at England here. I'm going to just roll this through because we get a bit of saggy times coming by here over the next 10 days. And, well, we deserve to know what's going on. You'll hear me clicking some things. I just want to see the comments on this video better. And so now I'll be able to do that. And occasionally be able to pop a link in here. That'll make me a lot happier. Right, as you can see, a lot of these storms going over there, like into Poland, Czech. What is it? We get a new name there for you? For Prague? Czechia? Oh, can't keep up with the politics anymore. So many ticks. There isn't enough bug spray for all the ticks. But Polly is many, and ticks are ticks, and ticks are gonna suck. Things dry. So as you see, we get saggy times, and it's the setup across the Atlantic has get this coming kind of our way. You'll see what I mean by kind of. Is they send the low up more toward Iceland. Is you get a big bunch of hot air up there because of the volcanoes fountaining up there, and so it just keeps spitting the moisture in. And so we're picking up a bit of a tropical flow here, a bit of a sand event going on, and it's all mixing. And just leading to the I've had enough rains, for us. It's really, really not pleasant to see. The totals on the fives is kind of high, even up through Scotland getting a little bit of a break. But here where I'm at is not so much fun. And not so much fun to be me on the tens. Trying to find the other one. Here you go. Yeah, the tens is not so pleasant here. Not so pleasant at all. So heavy totals around Liverpool, up through Preston and all that. Lots of heavy rains through Ireland, and to be expected as they work these storms up and over. It's just a continual, long, saggy, nasty, I've had enough, I want the sun to shine. Blocking the sun is a very bad idea. Super duper totals that are going to be appearing up through the Himalayas and the entire mountain range up there. Look at the tendril they brought over, the food basket of India, the food basket of Bangladesh, and all these areas through here, and with their inundations. And some heavier totals starting to show up over here in Thailand. Not good at all. It's just consistent long wets. You're going from 6 centimeters to 15. It's just really just wet. And the devastation of Japan is going to become quite evident when this thing makes landfall and a half a meter of rain gets dumped on the point of the country right there. And these islands out here, my God. Yeah, this is bad for them. These poor folks over here at Yakushima. Oof. Where do you hit that rain? It's going to run to every one of these little villages along here. So I'm very, very concerned for these folks. Yes, I'm going to just doing the totals now. Yes, I'm going to zip on down and show you Straya. Isn't it nice to see you guys not totally blasted and the pinks and everything? It is to me. But if I look down toward fjord lands and the westlands here, we see some very, very significant rains over the next 10 days. And not all of that's going to be snow. Like if you're down there, you're going to be wet. It's going to be cold, right? That's that particular day. Excuse me a minute. And your accumulations are going to be very, very high. In a bit of Takakas Mountains down here, I think you're getting some snows. Yeah, just starting to get some snows up through the ranges here. It's going to be very pretty looking. But the totals of snows even extending down here to Kaikoura, clearly showing you a trough of cold air has been worked up. And it's going to be frozen turf over here through Archer's Pass, scheduled to be at -3. Even is that today? Let's have a look. What's that temperature on that day? That's on, and we're talking on Wednesday. Very, very cold air. And that whole valley here is going to have a pocket of cold air sitting all down in it. Hey, so, have your firewood ready. Yeah, what a valley this is. Yeah, went to Archer's Pass and we came down through here. It's just like rainbows in the sky from the mist coming off the long white cloud. It can naturally occur. It looks like Christchurch is puking up a snowball there. I look like a Muppet, kind of. Can't get the hair doing it. So where do I want to head with you now? I think I'm going to go into Beanville. A bit of an event going on here. It went right up through here. A big blast came right down here. This is Tiger firing. And it's going to cause a bit of a backup. So where this might have gone into Antarctica, it then forces it up and over. So anything down here diverts. It's going to skate on into this here and assist in the moving of the cold air. Just, here, I'll zoom it down so you can have a bit of a look at the timestamps. Oh, it's not enough. Here's your timestamps. Pop. Pop. Bzzz, 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 bzzz. A lot of action here. Go to Chris, the top end there, but not above Greenland. So that's going to have a little bit of a pocket of corridor. See the blast there, no blast there, blast here, blast here, blast here. So they've left a corridor open that's going to help feed these storms out here in the Atlantic and helping to form the Lando cane. It's going to now it's starting to fold a little bit. Pow. It popped south. Pow. It caused a big straight line to appear. So imagine that's going to show up in at a NASA worldview, which I've yet to load, which I'm not going to quite do yet, as I don't want it to start blurring out the feed yet. So I'm going to take care of some of these pressures, because they make you feel all pressurized and everything. And some of the particulate flow, though, because, well, that's just another distraction. And let you just see what's going to unfold. And give me a chance to squeeze out my coffee bag. Oh, we got no comments yet. Or does it need refreshing? Oh, I can turn it on my phone. So, yeah, if you want me to look at any particular place or anything, just let me know. You know, I'll be happy to do that. As we're moving along, I'm going to move a little faster. As you can see, that tendril here, from here to here, coming up the creeper there, it's going to be, all the electricity flow is going to go through just like a wire. The principle is known as ducting, or ducting. It's traveling through a duct of energy itself, because in that whole wire's electrical potential, even from generated over here, it could be discharged along here, or generated here, it could be discharged along this line here. And so we have to take that into account. So I imagine we're going to have a bit of electricity coming through here on about the 6th. So then I'll do the little pop-ins here. I just want you to run through about 4 days, and then I'm going to go over the pressures of what should occur. I'll see if I can't take you near 3 weeks out from now, using logical, statistical things that I could see. Pressure. Yeah, turn that off. Might go a little bit better. Now I'm going to do jumpies like this. Yes, right. I squeezed my bag out. The coffee is ready. It's time for a decaf. Yeah, a bit of snow is going to be coming across the North Island of New Zealand on that Thursday. So we'll do the close in on the week now. All right, you guys get some soggy times coming along your coastal highway today. Sydney can expect some fair totals over the next 24 hours. Yeah, with this storm that's coming here, it's totally combinated. And I mean absolutely combinated. And so there's some fair heavy totals. There's some very hilly areas down here. Matter of fact, the whole place is just harbor area and all that. And so if we get in over the 3s, you'll see you've had yours. Right, and we'll start looking up coast then. Right, so they enjoy your day tomorrow because the soggy's coming. Yeah, and I don't think they're staying off coast. They're showing a little bit of a break here between the two. Hey, sometimes that means they're about to have a beaming event where they're going to split a flow. See, that's a little tickle in the moisture is telling me something there. Brisbane, Marburg will probably do it. Yeah, it might be offline. Hey, but I have a feeling it's still operating. The line is still plugged in, put it that way. And so really, you're having an event that's coming there, so I'm going to go over that real quick here. As we'll put it through, it'll make sure the Sydney and the gong is all in that. And watch the sogginess creeping up the coast, creeping up the coast. And I'm going to put a little bit of pressures in here so you can start to see. It's really following a very high pressure line. And there are two distinctnesses here in the flow. One's curving here, See this? Like it's bubbling up. It's about to spit a law. Where will it go? Will it go up? Will it go south? Or will they just heat the hell out of this whole area? We said this island's out here and assure that the hot air stays in place. I have a feeling the hot air staying in place through electromagnetic manipulation and perturbations of the atmosphere. Yep, and various streams and altitudes of the atmosphere, they can make flow various ways. The pausal layers, as they are known. Lismore get a bit of flow covered in here. Ballin gonna have a bit of flow. You know, old Bell landed down here. Don't forget about wood bird. Bird and wood. Yeah, watch where your pee-pee goes. You want a bird and wood. Remember Mrs. Evers' boys? If you ever, yeah, where they deliberately gave people syphilis to see if they could cure it, they did not. And it damn sure spread. And that was done by the government. Don't ever tell me the government won't harm you. Oh, bring up Mrs. Evers' boys. You should watch the movie about it. It'll give you a general idea of what could possibly go wrong when your government is taken over by the pharmaceutical industry. And your industry makes you sick. And to treat what's sick. And the stuff in your sky is not healthy. As you see the pinch stuff down low there, that's going to be a cold one. They did a dippity-doo. Through this the vortexes of here, bunching up the pressure and let it go can form a low on its own. Will it bubble or will it be the wiper? Hey, folks, he's going to steam. Which, it's a steamer. That's a steamer. You can expect a little bit of winds in the front of that. Not super dupers, but nothing you're going to want to be out there in your waka without your life jacket, that is for sure, unless you just want to live on the edge. Right? And it seems that most of the aimings has been held off coast with a beam. Ooh, this is an interesting flow. Look where they're mixing. That has to form a secondary low down there whenever you see a flow like that. Hey, that's got a pinch. It is clearly being held in the Antarctic bubble of cold air. They dissipate the low and they steam everything in. It is still there. Now that, by definition, is only lower than that. Atmospheric pressure is 1014. That number is high pressure. Let's write that down. 13 point blah blah, depending upon your altitude, sea levels, and what the height of the wave you're on. Yeah, it could affect that. Yeah, we want to split hairs, somebody. See, the low just hung out. And that means burnt pine's going to be pinning it. Burnt pine probably gives off the same radar signal as you'll see on this one up here. Probably all the time. If they showed it honestly, yeah, probably what that one would look like as well. Look how many layers of the atmosphere they're beaming here. You got one giving off a square. You got one giving wedges. All these different various antennas that they have can do different effects. And they get a lot of them in the same devices even. And so this is always a very, very active a beaminator. No data right now. What was it doing when the no data happened? Did somebody trip over the plug? Oh, somebody tripped over the plug again over here at Cooktown. Maybe they was frying the people at Cooktown. Yep, nothing to see there. What about New Zealand's the one they're so damn clumsy down here. They're always tripping over the cord. Let's see what we got here. Oh, we go back 6 hours. I guarantee you somebody has tripped over the cord in New Zealand. So I'm going to let that roll a moment. There's still no comments. Why did you say tremendous? Did I set the privacy on nobody? It says I got 29 watchers. I've actually set up a monitor just to see the comments. Oh, yeah, so I can make it more personal for you guys. Oh, you got some frying going on off here like Gizboard. Look at this. Bzz, data on data. There was a brief moment of no data there. I see you. Who tripped over the cord? Now we can go back up. Right there. Data's off. You tell me the cloud just went away. There's nothing to show there. Yeah, somebody's tripping over the cord. Or perhaps somebody does not want you to see things. Not want you to see. Not want you to see a United Nations logo on Uluru. Don't see that. It's what they were trying to write vote no, but they ran out of laser power. Kiyama, boy, you got a big guy. You got a nasty system that came over here. Let me see if we can catch the 1 hours on this. That's probably gone by now. Look. No, that's a slow moving. It's got to be bombed. Should I have a look? Let's have a quick look. Yeah, get you up here. We got it going, eh? So I'm gonna have to put some names on them in here. Alright, where are we down here? We are at Kiyama, which is you try remembering all these names. Okay, we're near Newcastle and all that. Boy, I couldn't have been any more. Alright, have we been bombed? Have they been bombed over here near Campbelltown? Kiyama. There's Kiyama. I'll get Keanu Reeves right there in the middle. We'll bust this matrix wide open. The matrix of lies. We're looking over here, because what we're over here, and we're seeing over here. We're seeing storms. How are they doing it? That is the question we will ask. I think I can get just a little more zoom on this. Not much more. Yeah, you have to go down a little bit. There we go. I can see it. Maybe like that. Alright, we're looking at Kiam over here. We're looking at the blowing up of these storms. First thing I see is right off the coast here's a great big old scalar square of energy. And a mustache. Yeah, you see the mustache. See the big scalar square of energy that caused the flows and the outflows of the wizard? It's a sad face with his finger on his nose, and he's wiggling it. He's got his thumb on his nose, wiggling it. And it turns into the demon with the hordes. In other words, they're creating outflows with chem bombs. That's a chem bomb there. Streamer, bomb, 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 bomb. Big explosion here. We're going to go back 10 minutes. 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes back. And he's rolling a spliff. He's smoking it. And here's the skeleton face. And Pickle Nose is fired from the bank. And the entrance is up here. So these storms here are looking. Then a wave of electromagnetic frequency comes on to create a wind flow. And it's going to feed into these next set of bombs that are going to blow up stationary. So that didn't move. Right where I'm pointing at V shape there. And then more frequency is turned on. And a square bomb cluster is deployed with 3 more in its center. Boom, 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 boom. Shape charges. And a little guy waving at you there. Elephant going by in the room and nobody sees it even when it platches. And we get the crab formation, which is the bomb looking like a crab. Can bomb be bomb ba bomb ba bomb bomb ba bomb ba bomb. The government loves you so much, took the sunshine from your skies. Vitamin D. No vitamin D, no growing good fruits on your tree. I'll be walking around eating crickets and having cases of rickets. What a fucking shame. What a shame. What a shame, what a shame, what a shame. What a fucking shame. You have to excuse me a moment. I'm having a moment. This magic moment, these chem bombs, they're so real. I just want sunrise from mother. Don't wanna be smothered. Boom, 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 boom. Mother Fletcher's fucking up my skies. You thought I was gonna swear? I did. Wouldn't play it in it. Look at the bombs right here. Right off the coast. Over the whale passage. The whale's coming up and through here. You get a different kind of haze going on there, like a beam has come out from a military boat of some kind. Is out at sea. Do you see what they want you to see, or do you see what's there? Only you can ask a question. Why is this dot in the center streamering out like that? Straight line in the wagon wheel. Because there's a chem bomb deployed. You have a very high atmosphere balloon and it did it again 10 minutes later. You can't tell me a star like that's going to naturally float along and last that long in all the winds that are up there in that high atmosphere. And this is above that. That's very high level. It just keeps going along doing stuff. Here's you have a strato cruiser, a drone of some kind, has been just continuing along in the stream. It's just moving along and bombing away. Pilot came bombardier, pilot came bombardier, we need some devilish air over there. What a bunch of twats. You should see the skies over here. What in the hell is this here? Over near Cook Strait. Look at these big blasts here off your coast. Boom, boom, boom there. 3 shots there, streamering off. Squares over here. Squares. Not round. It's not the ictus symbol there. or the Christian fishy. There's something fishy going on. There's a conspiracy that's covering this up. This ain't a theory. You see it right before your eyes above your mountains where they're scheduling snows. Look at the emanation points of a pulse. All the shockwave going out. What's that, the Pentagon after the cruise missile hits it? In the one part they had the records of the billions stolen by Rumfield and Bush. That one office. Look at the go. Oh my! Look at that on the low deck. Woo! Cam suck. Look at the chemtrails. These aren't dissipating like they should, and they're swinging in sideways against the flow of the normal winds that you would expect to see under such pressure situations. But when you got beams controlling shit, ships out at sea, steaming it up, doing the cloud brightening, there's all sorts of things I can cover to show you the documents that prove that this is going on. You cannot have a conspiracy by yourself. By definition, you're not conspiring. You're questioning things. Something isn't right. You know, milk might look good and have a good date on the outside, but if you open that container and it smells bad, would you investigate it further? Or would it be a conspiracy to have somebody smell the container? Well, I go outside and it smells bad. And I ask other people to smell the container. Is not a conspiracy at all. It's asking questions. Because, well, when a government has lied to us in the past, like Mrs. Evers' boys were lied to, I have to question the statements of known liars. And the news, I'm sorry, Building 7, they said fell 21 minutes plus before it did. Well, it was over the person's shoulder. They're reading the script. There was a play. Up went one, down went the other. This is horrendous. This is not naturally occurring cloud formations here. All this here. Chemtrails off the coast of Australia. Chemtrails in the middle of the ocean under the migratory pests of beautiful animals that don't deserve this. And we're destroying their environment with infrasound. They're affected by EMF too. Don't think it's just us that are dying from this. Just because we can't see it dying and it's lying under the silts of the oceans from the man-made floods doesn't mean they haven't died. Doesn't mean that an extinction hasn't occurred. And who knows what's functionally extinct anymore. I think Homo sapiens nearly are. Look at the waveform going across Australia here. Heading over to it. That's not a morning glory cloud. That's a wave, and it's very wide between here and here. Look at how wide the peak is in the trough. It's not nucleating there, it's nucleating here and here. Measure that. One going over the top of the other is going to generate some electrical cold. Got another boogeyman face over there. Hey, the boogeyman came bombing you again. It's like a baby seal. Almost. Look at that. That's man-made as all. Use your voice now to tell them no to the geoengineering. Oh, my indigenous people are so scared about. Look what they did to Mrs. Evers' boys. Look what they just did to you over your population. What's that, the baby face from 2001? It's not a naturally occurring cloud formation. You got a square here, and a bomb, and a bomb, and a bomb. Look at the circle there. Look at the curve with the line. Like somebody's having target practice. Like the scene from Apocalypse Now with the machine gun guy. And asking him, how can you do that to women and children? He said, you just lead them a little more. You know, and something came along in a line here and it deployed some rockets or the Angel of Death C-130 type deployment of chaffs. And they might be having some kind of war games in the sky over there. But meanwhile, the chemicals from their war games have influenced the weather and been used to influence the weather. The military-industrial pharmaceutical complex has no curing wards in their hospitals. Only endless treatments. You can only put so much air in the tire, folks, before you gotta replace it. Well, you know what? In a world where your car has to be roadworthy, but the roads don't have to be car-worthy, and you get punished, they say no more, I am not your system's whore. And look what they're doing to my whales. Look what they're doing to the sea turtles. Look what they're doing. So things we don't know about yet. We don't have, there might be more people living in cities under here. They won't come up to see us because we're not humane beings yet. Who knows what's under here we're not told about? Oh, worried about going on barge. You ain't showing me what's in my ocean. You're not being honest with what's in the sky. You say Richard Nixon called the fucking moon on a goddamn landline. Get the fuck out of here. He might as well have been holding the phone receiver upside down. Look at this. You hide the names of pedophiles in court. Hashtag expose the 28. You exposed themselves. Look at the face out here, like Bart Simpson's skeleton face. Or is that Ahmed the not so quite dead terrorist? I kill you! Look at this. Look at it. Not naturally occurring cloud formation or blowing bombs up over the water. You see how animals ask during fireworks in your house. Imagine what's happening under the water. They might make a bubble of air that looks like a shockwave that would, to a whale or a dolphin, might think it's something solid and they'll veer suddenly away from it, thinking it's somewhere it's not. And beach itself. The Bimini Islands, I'm not 100% sure where the Bimini Islands are. But I bet this map knows. Bimini Islands. I say it's called something else. Oh, Bimini. Does it mean Bimini, North Singapore? If you want to see Singapore, it's up here. This is the United States. They get a tough day. Yeah, it's all like all. It'd take me an hour just to cover all this. These poor folks here coming through this corridor in Illinois and across southern Kansas today. And this line here especially is bad. Very, very bad lines of storms today for them. Like, you see this one here's got the curl in it already? And it's nighttime there. We're just getting done. It's the wrong time of day. This is 1 hour. See how it's spun in a square? Man-made as fuck. It'd take me hours to load that storm. I just don't have time for it. In fact, I need to run over to the post office rather early because there's so many storms, so little time. Your guys up this direction here, it would be easier for me to show with weather radar. Hey, Singapore and all that's right here. That's that area of the world. I don't 100% know where that island is. Where Atlantis is at. El Paso, that's a very debated. It's a very debatable thing. Yeah, we'll do that some other time. But here's a look at Singapore and all that. They're getting farked. They are. They get some terrible storms. They're beaming down south. Look at this beam. Closes off the strait between here and here, changing the flows. This is how I read the tropics. I watch these beams, like this one over here going north to Bali, that sealed the flow. That just seals the flow that direction, but leaves enough air to come up to feed in on that. And this sealed the bay. See, look, so pins that storm north. It's going to walk this direction here. It has to. It's the only EMF corridors left. Unless this one's beaming square down low. Nah, square down low. Yeah, she's riding over the top. If anything, this is cutting the storms into pieces. You're heading in a weird direction. Okay. That's why it curved, because that 3 is right there. Right, the EMF. So then that comes out to sea. It's not going to really hit this little island here, because it's already defended itself or closed out the strait. So it can't go up through here. The airflow is set to come through here and keep feeding this area here. It has to happen. Unless a big beam changes that. Yep. Boy, did you guys get chem-bammed that way. I'm not sure if they pert loaded. No, it's not. Well, I got Bali and all that, but it won't take long. Until you can see all the chem bombs they use even in the tropics. All through the tropics here. And chem bombs are different than chemtrails. Right? A plane goes by, it should dissipate if it was a natural contrail. But these are very high altitude deployments, some of these. And as you watch them move, You'll see what goes over the top of the other. It's going to flash while I do this. So take a moment and have a sip of your drink, and I'll sit back too. And if you'd like to support my work, you may do so at paypal.me/Robert Deutsch. And the first thing I'm noticing is these one plumes is not just a sudden nucleation of a round storm. Something has come in place and moved and stayed there and steamed it up like a mobile factory would do. Right? So we still ain't loaded that part. I told you, each one of these levels of the atmosphere I have to load. It takes me hours to do one of these shows. Even for 30-minute show, it took me 2.5 hours to do. And I might need a break in between. Right? Flash, chem bombs unacceptable. Flash, chem bombs in your vegetables. No organic vegetables. Gotta stop geoengineering. Blocking the sun is a bad idea. So how did these plumes occur? What is going on here? Something has exploded and it's going upwind. Right? It's going upwind. Everything else going that way. The divider, then it shoots another one off. Yeah, I'm watching this one at a time. It shoots another rocket of some kind off. All at once, all of these have decided to deploy all at once. Simultaneous combination, I call that. Back in time, back in time, back in time. So this combine, something in this line here has shut something out. Here goes 1, 2. Simultaneous chem bombs. Chemmy bam bam bombs, chema chem bam bam bam, bending you with bombs, chema chem bam bam. You see it? See it yet? It's a plan. That's engineered. It took synchronization. Synchronize your wedges. Bomb them twats. Look at all the bombs between these little islands out here. They might have had the most beautiful, beautiful sun rays. And some people might have saved their whole lives to come out here and have that one romantic. It might be a guy with a wedding ring or a girl with a wedding ring. Every reporter is out there. This is their moment, and then they got poisoned by these bombs that were deployed in international waters by the whole Admiralty. They could stick their fucking gold fringe up their minge as far as I'm concerned. See it coming in a square emanation point with bombs. Right? These chem bombs are very, very real. And they look like a plan. And I see that happens all the time, especially over here. I see that a lot. And I looked in and I asked where the sugar factories are, where it's possible there's a factory doing something. First thing I see here is a straight-ass line. I know they've EMF'd it. So you got two different waveforms. And that big-ass waveform is just coming across. The whole country has been cunted by an electromagnetic frequency, which gets the molecules in our body vibrating at the frequency of that when it goes by. And it's very uncomfortable for a lot of people. Is this one's going over a top layer? Well, that's on a low deck. So whatever chemical catalysts are put in this mix here will fall out sooner. And that, whatever that was, is meant to react with it. And they're different things. And they're relying on the sun, moisture, motion itself of creating electrical flows like a square of energy, like this scalar square here off the coast of the Great Barrier Reef will do. And the boogeyman fish as I see it. Chem bombs really, really suck. All these formations are not natural. It's not just microwaves. Marine cloud brightening involves microwaves and involves chemical catalysts and sending up moisture injection, as I sometimes call it, from various methods. Hoses suspended in towers and stuff. It ain't natural. I've already shown that one. Looked like a freaking devil with wings in it. Well, you know, in a world or a dragon or something, in a world where you get demons, you call themselves they and them. And I'm hearing people call themselves they and them. And I'm watching policies of politicians doing they and them. Honest, it's time for you and I to realize that the answer is we. We got to do this ourselves. We can't rely on Elijah the prophet to come down twice. And well, Christ consciousness is in all of us. Yeah, imagine it sings at the 11th harmonic of 7.83 hertz. And these beings are curtain things that are as yet undisclosed to us. because they're doing sonic things out there with their war games, and we're watching far too many whales beaching and far too many animals dying for us to remain silent anymore. It's like a square of bombs and bomb, but it's very predictable. With somebody making a pie and using a fork, every time you say fork this shit, I mean, really, I can go on here now. I'm gonna load worldview real quick, and I know exactly where I got to go first, because they'll take it off the feed. I'm gonna do this real quick. Right into you, folks. Okay, we have it unedited. I got it unedited. I'm taking a screenshot just in case those lines start appearing. Right, this is over here near what I call the kiwi beak that goes out here, right, the dipper. And I go out here in the strait. The first thing I see is many levels of the atmosphere have been poisoned with different mixes of bombs, chemtrails. You see the squares, and they're not round storms. They're not perfectly circular, and there are far too many directions that they're flowing in for the directions of wind that's going on. Yeah, I'm pointing at a very obvious deployment right there. Some of this smoke you'll see in these valleys will be people's heat and stuff, but some of it is not. Everything's always purple like that. Boy, you must have had some hellacious sunset high up. I won't be surprised if you have noctilescent clouds. That's not aurora. That's for sure. Boy, such horrendous colors to your sky here. Lots of weird colored ices are refracting light. But as we get more south, you'll see weirder colors start to appear just because of the nature of the season we're in. It tilted the planet in relation to the sun. Will yield certain color effects. If they stay green all day, there'll be a spot that does. But it's not the kind of green you'd expect. Look at all this crap out to sea as I go here back up the other coast of the west coast here, and I zoom in. You'll see there's been a center point with bombs that came off. Bomb, 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 bomb. Cam bam 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 bam. Cams and bam 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 bam. Cam bam 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 bam. Boom 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 plums and her boom boom plumbing you, and her boom boom plumbing you. Boom 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 boom. What the fuck color of ice is that kind of chemical making? Boom 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 boom. Look at that cluster bomb going off here in a square with little ones on the outside. This is not just a puffy cloud that's steaming along. These are shape charges. It is right. I caught them with their pants down. They didn't censor me in time because I didn't let on I was going to do it. What a beautiful colors this water would be. And if they let the sun shine, we start seeing more green showing up. Because photosynthesis would be allowed to happen to the sea creatures. That are required to keep the ocean itself healthy. You know, where do you think the ocean gets its iodine supplies and stuff from? Kelps and things. And if it's not there, and it doesn't have the red plants and stuff that it needs to, because like we need the red fruits and stuff in our winter times and seasons, they're suffering. They have to be suffering. Because I keep feeling it. I feel the plight. I feel that this chemtrail could have allowed more sunshine there. This EMF blanket of crap could have allowed more sunshine here. But instead the sun hitting the whole volcano at once, they cause an instability. And it by letting one side get colder than the other. What words do we use for that? What a fucking shame. Look at these chem bombs off your coast. That's not just a natural vortex, that's square. That look like a dick. Here's the pubes. Boom, boom, pubes. Boom, 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 pubes. You got boom, boom, pubes, man. That's fucked up. This Mother Nature shouldn't have boom, boom, pubes. Her hair should be made of sweet-smelling grasses. Fields of wild-growing flowers. Not this emanation point, which the streamers coming off with the bombs. It's the flower of death. That's what I call that formation. It's not just EMF. Chemical catalysts are being used. Shape charges are also being used to force flows within that EMF. Ooh, it's happening. Look, there's your happening face. Can you look more diabolical than that? That's just diabolical. Not diabolicious either, like a sinful dessert. If they have their way with it, it's going to be like the Matrix. You're going to put a dessert in your mouth and somebody planted an AI orgasm for you. Yeah, like in the Matrix movie. Kind of said it all. Look how white these plumes have gotten. Zoom in on it. How many crisscrosses of directions of flow you got going on here? How many directions of the wind? It looked like Chucky. Yeah, this guy makes me want to up Chucky. It's vomitational. Absolutely vomitational. I mean, Chucky, at least he's only going to be in one spot at a time. Yes, he's up, Chucky. Look at the vortex out here. It's like your weather forecast for the mainstream. They question it all the time. Oh, sure, it always does that. When the flow is coming this direction, it can't actually make a vortex like that naturally, but not as square as that. Yeah, if the flow is just right. Yeah, we'll have to comment that. How should we keep our integrity here? Bzzz, getting fried in the far north, huh? That chicken leg is done. Ooh, boom, boom. Zoom in on it. It's not just EMF. There's a plume right there. Right here. See it? See it? See it? See it? See it? See the squares? The military-industrial complex warned us about by a president of the United States named Dwight D. Eisenhower, who was known to be a brilliant general, clearly warned us of the situation we are in now. See the scalar square in the haze here? Of where the energy ran? Now as I zoom in on that, see the bomb cluster here? See the bomb cluster here? Boom, 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 boom. Chemical catalyst being deployed. Somewhere on a periodic table of chemicals, something exists that's doing that. It's leaving a trail in my sky. Chemtrails are very real. Chemtrails are in your sky. Chemtrails are right here. I'm showing you right before your eyes. Whether you believe it or not, they can kill you anyhow. So it's a good thing I know about this, because I'm going to fight for this. I will not accept this paradigm. I will not see this in my grandkids' future. I will not see the people that are being used to sell their land off in a voice party being poisoned right now in advance over Western Australia with microwave poisoning, with chem bomb fallout of undisclosed things. Undisclosed things being deployed over the Matua. I don't even know how to pronounce that because I'm looking at a smaller screen today. A Karura, indigenous, but all the names are going to change. So let's just look at this as our Earth. This is our Earth being poisoned. This is our Earth being toxified by the toxifiers, and the lines that begin to appear. You can't hide your lies behind lines, because I've heard your state line before. I've seen your chem bombs. They're showing people. We got a big problem. There's something worse than vaccines. Look. For years they've been playing stuff by this. They wrote the word "sir" out here, or "sucks." They spelled "sucks" wrong. The image was super clear earlier. And now as I zoom in on the lower layers of the atmosphere, that was edited out. Streamers of death, they call these. Been calling them for years. My God, it just breaks my heart. I must have to grow a new one every night I go to sleep. Well, you know that tree over there? They don't speak English too well. But I do. And they say no more, no more. Let Mother Nature would be their message to us. It's time to let Mother Nature. Got a reflection of something under the cloud. Maybe there's a lake or something down there. Isn't that shape, eh? Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. It's just like a Victoria Falls, a fucking chem bomb falls there. Drippy chemtrails. Oh yeah, changing the surfactant properties of a raindrop so they all look all drippy nowadays. Drippy raindrops all looking like a slurry falling down, and it ain't even cold enough for it to be sleet. It is crap in our skies. Does it matter where you are to give a fuck? It doesn't to me. Because we all live in this polluted submarine looking fucking thing over here. Because we're all bathed in water, and the Great Flood came into chemtrails and it never let us all dry out. But you would say these spots worth looking at here. Hey, maybe. Hey, found a spot right here. If I zoom in really close, there was no chemtrail, but there was one over here. Well, who knows how thin the fallout is from that? And when it falls, one particulate at a time, and it's nano size, and not all of it's reflecting light, and there's a bunch of shit you can't see with the naked eye that is inside your body right now because you breathe the air, because the food you grow and eat breathes the air and drinks the water that this falls out into. For decades they've been poisoning us. I was going to do a long-term forecast, but I'm tired. How much of this could one person show and still hold it together? When I'm watching a chemtrail cloud of man-made crap go the entire length of Europe into Asia. The UN has just attacked the Ukraine, Belarus, Romania, and they're going to have some terrible totals along this corridor and through here coming up, which I showed earlier, right? This is a very, very long line of chem. Right from the Yucatan Peninsula. Well, not the Yucatan, that's the Straits of Hercules. Right over here, and I could have added all the way to here to add more distance, but just to make a generalized point. I mean, that's 3,150 kilometers. It'd take you about 5 hours to fly that. Possibly more. What a fucking shape. Because it take you, yeah, it's a long flight. Because Turkey over to here was also a long flight. Alright, with that said and with that done, I just want to get this chem down here that they did over Iowa last night. It followed the line of the storms they're having today. As deadly times are coming to the USA during the day today. This is not going to be good. Not good at all. And I don't have any of that loaded. This is an absolute... I told you today, between Dodge City and this, they hit a beam out. It's on the line going along the highway toward Wichita Falls. So this right now, there'll be tornado warnings all in this storm. And you can see line in the front of the chem bombs. Hang on, I'm going to do something. Bear with. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm finding some data. Alright, let's go. I'm gonna do something. I have to see this. Okay, I don't want to miss out on this one. Right, we're gonna go with a regional section. I went over here. Alright, let's have a look at the Nexrads here. Right, they're firing on from Michigan, they're firing in from Wisconsin. Chicago's down about here. Damn sure fired over here. So they beam in a corridor. Look at the pulsation go through this. Boom, 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 like that. I'm gonna go sub-regional now. And let's catch that station there. Now I'm going to go a little more south. I will catch it there. A little bit of quite a vortex coming with this one here. I'm going to I want to go with 96 images. Sorry if there's a pause in the loadings. I can turn that off. A lot of Nexrads aiming this storm. Very typical fashion, slow moving. It's just going to skirt Chicago. No, really, this is the path of this storm It's nearly being steered in right here. A little, no. Yeah, the block is here. There's the block. See, they fired out. The heated corridor is here. See the pulsation come down through the storm here? Come in. I don't know if it's going to let me bring it on screen. No, it won't. Sorry about that. Oh well. It's about the best I can do is a 150. Look at the pulsation here coming from out of Illinois. See it? Totally pitting the storm. I'm going backwards in time so we can watch the development of the pulses. See, there's another one came out up this direction from here. So they totally aimed this storm through here. This is deadly. They made sure these stayed separate. Because that might have came down that direction, that corridor this way, but it can't now. The radar said so. Get the backside sweep it. They pinned it. You see how they pinned it? Absolutely pinning this storm, America. Look at this. It's almost like they're drawing it into a city here. Look at that line suddenly appear between the corridor of the two. They would have bombed that into existence. Wow. A deadly storm today, and further south it's going on as well. You see how they do that move? Yeah, look at Ohio. Come on, play. Play. Yeah, we'll go sub-regional again. Let's catch this here. It's going across the Great Plains right now. 96 though. Now, this is WeatherCon if you want to have a look at it. Yeah, it's a free site. It's complicated, so there's a lot for you to look at there. Right. That radar's head. See the fuzz box's head? See, that was in a rectangle. So they've already done a cut corridor here. Bzz, bzz. Wow, did they blow that into existence? What, oh my gosh, that's a lot of manipulation going on. Let's go localized. So we can catch this. Wahahaha. There's the Roy Sterling. See if we can catch this. Radars all blow up. See the pulse wave come out of them. That's most likely a wind farm. Doing that, it shoots right between the corridor of these two radars. That pulse wave come in. You've got a wind farm along here for sure. Yeah, I learned about that from Billy Hayes. When I would see that cross flow like that, it very often is a wind farm kicks on, and it uses its things like a fan. Is the wind turning the wind turbine, or is the wind turbine being turned? An impeller can become a propeller. Is all I'm going to say about that. Ooh, it wasn't very windy today. That thing's turning awful fast. That's all I'm going to say about that. Hey, USA, look at you, like you got some chem bombs going on there. We can go with the visible radar in it. Nothing to see. It's too late at night. I can do the infrared to show it. We can see if there's any bombs going on here. Let me take it out. Let me go sub-regional on it. See if we can pick up that cap right here. What's feeding this storm? There's a bomb going off right here, for sure. Right there. Let's see if we can catch this. That's a chem bomb deployment from a centralized source. It's not like a factory that came on and steamed it up. We have some chem bombs racing towards this line of EMF here. Look. Going into a beam sweat. See the bombs? USA. Another one there, streamering in, making sure the chemical catalysts were just right, and it blowed up those storms. Those storms were totally created through a geoengineering method. artillery method. Da-na-na-na-na. Dueling campaigns. Look at all the freaking energy wave. That looks like a dick. A big scrotum. I ain't making that up. It does. Or it's the lies of the politicians growing the Pinocchio nose. Yeah. Look at all the chemtrails here. Fueling this storm. Let's go a little further north. Hey, that'll give us a nice sweat to look at. Oh, yes. I told you it'd take me a bit to get USA loaded in a way that, yeah, it's already loaded, where I can cover it. That's Lake Michigan. That'll be Chicago and Milwaukee. Hello, Wisconsin, where the Fines would live, and Laverne and Shirley and all that. And they need to sit on it, Patsy, and doing this kind of shit to us. Look at this coming down the wrong direction. That wave's going that way, then one shoots out. Timestamps are all down here. These are in 5-minute jumps. See the bomb being deployed right on the edge? See the waveform going through as well? With that haze even over here? You know, run it. You see it? Watch the waveform. Pulsating through the cloud form. Pulse and pulse. Hem the chem together. Force the droplets to get bigger so that they kind of say we're heavy enough to fall. You have one waveform coming down, pinning this one south, making that straight line look to these chemmed up old death storms that they brewed up for you guys. Look at the squares. It's absolutely horrendous. Square, 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 square. Energy wave, chemical catalyst to propagate the waveforms. Barium, strontium, aluminum for the easy stripping of ions off the metals, and the ions are definitely what storms are all about. I'm just gonna run this. See how that just stays in that thing? See the waveforms going on? That whole line should have been moving, but this square is just dancing between the beams. It gets to a certain part and it wobbles along, just bounces off it like a bumper in a pinball machine. And while the wizards are not so good at hiding it anymore. So I'm gonna jump off here now. I've got a bit of an earache. Yep. And not 100% well. Alright, so you guys stay safe. I kind of showed you what you could expect today across the United States already and Canada, haven't I? I don't as of yet have a site that covers Canada that way. And so I'll work on it. And then you're going to start seeing 1.5 and 2 hour long weather shows. These are your 10-day totals to pretty much be expected along this corridor. You can see where that line of storms went through here. So that means they're planning some big action up here through upstate New York and coming up through New England and up through Maine and in through Canada, where a big old low is going to be. So we'll cover that more when the time comes. Hawaii, enjoy the time you got. Because, man, you guys really look, I'm jealous. You're going to get some sunshine. But you've directed a lot of rivers of moisture. And I'm very, very concerned about this following storm. And no, I want this one. I'm really concerned about this one. It's already started tracking into the tropical zone, but it should skirt north. You see this haze on the low deck out here? And that's going to be a steering current for this to ride up into the zone that then takes it up this corridor here. I mean, into the tropics, where it most likely be due to the dive down, and where I cannot as yet determine. The beams will do the deciding. In a world where they sell us our dreams, they love to swell our streams to kill the dreams. And we all got to say no more, no more. We are not the system's whore. We are symbiotic, humane beings that want to be humane. Big love. Peace.